Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Bill Kinahan. I'm a senior solution architect with Velosio, and I'm going to take a few minutes today and walk through Dynamics 365 sales for you. Now, Dynamics 365 is made up of a plethora of different applications, and I'll just take a couple minutes to kind of explain to you where they fit into the ecosystem. As I mentioned, we're going to talk primarily about sales today, the pursuit of sales, the opportunity management, the lead management, account management, quotes, orders, invoices, that type of stuff. That's just one component. The application has other areas as well. You can see on the right hand side customer service. So if you want to do ticket tracking, like a customer support desk, CSR's working phones, things along those lines, with knowledge base articles and queuing and routing and all that type of stuff, that's available for you as well. Things like field service. So you're sending technicians out into the field to complete a work order or do different things for a customer. That whole work order process is part of the system. Marketing as well. So marketing, doing journeys, all the different campaigns and things like that you do from a marketing perspective, including like email templates, form generation off of your website, segmentation of different accounts and prospects and things along those lines. That's all part of the marketing piece. And then you can see project operations, finance and supply chain. So all the different ERP type of functions where, again, integrated into the system, they can pass information back and forth to really enable both your sales as well as your accounting side of things. Now, around the outside of this diagram, you can kind of see from a Microsoft ecosystem all the different things that play within the application as well. So in the top left corner, you can see Office 365, which is your suite that we all use today, right? Your Outlooks, your Excel, your Word, all those kinds of things, they're all plugged into the application, and including things like Teams. So Microsoft Teams, where I can, again, look at dynamic sales information and input information right from within the Teams application as well. Down the bottom left, you see things like Power Apps, Power Automate, and Common Data Service. Those are all technologies that, again, plug into the system. So Power Automate, for example, used for automation of the application. If I want to send out a notification or update someone of a change, all of those different things would be facilitated through Power Automate. And then top right-hand corner, you see Power BI. So the analytics tool from Microsoft that allows for deep analytics into maybe sales and ERP information, right? So the ability to actually pull that data from CRM as well as embed that dashboard directly into CRM and into the sales application. So you have the ability to actually look at data that may be coming from ERP directly from within Dynamics Sales. So let's take a look at the application. So this is Dynamics Sales, and we're going to walk through kind of a little bit of an overview of the dashboards and things like that, and then we'll actually walk through a sales process. You can get a feel for how a sales process would actually flow through the system. Now, keep in mind, this is entirely configurable, right? So however you want to work in the system, it can be configured for you. And notice I said configured, not customized. So configured gives me the ability to go in and change things without having to be a developer. All right, so what we're looking at here is a sales manager's summary dashboard. Now, dashboards can be created by a system administrator. They also can be created by an end user. So if I want to create my own personal dashboard that is pertinent to me and maybe not other people in the organization, I actually have the ability to do this. So in this case, I can see my pipeline. So you can see all my different open opportunities in my pipeline. We've got a 4-stage process here: qualify, develop, propose, close. As I just mentioned, that's entirely configurable by you too. So if you want to actually look at different information in different stages, you can do that as well. I can look at my closed opportunities. You can see I've got the lead here over David. I've got the open opportunities, open activities, excuse me, on the right-hand side that are kind of showing all the different interactions we have with our clients and our prospects. So all the phone calls, all the emails, all the tasks that are being completed, and you can see the different types within here. If I scroll down a little bit, you can see all the closed opportunities. Again, I've got more closed opportunities than David that have been won this year. We're about the same from a loss column perspective. And then all opportunities across the board, when have we been closing deals? So you can see in March was the big month for us so far, where we've closed deals significantly more than we did any of the other months. And then all the leads that have come in, our main leads have come in February this year. So you can see that it kind of gives me a quick synopsis of different details of the organization, right? My pipeline, what's my salespeople from an activity perspective, who's dominating or who's actually selling more than someone else within the system, and then lastly the leads that are coming in from different areas or different lead sources that maybe again fluctuate month to month or week to week. Now I also can go in and look at this information too. So you can see I've got my dashboard here, my chart. I can go in and look at the records behind that. So this, keep in mind, this is a visual representation, right? So I'm looking at this picture here is actually a representation of this data on the right-hand side. So if I want to go in and look at more detail and specifically for the develop stage of our sales process, you can see it's changed over here on the right-hand side. So this is all live information. I have the ability to go in and edit this information on the fly if I choose to and update it. And again, that would again get rectified or displayed over on the dashboard itself or on the chart itself in this case. Now, from a navigation perspective, I got to that dashboard by clicking on the left-hand side here where the dashboards area is. All the different areas that I can navigate to are on the left-hand side. That, again, is dependent on what security role I have. So what do I have access to do in the system? What can I do? What can I change? Can I just look at other people's information? Can I change that information? Or maybe I have no visibility into it at all. So that, again, is controlled from a security model side of things. Now, you'll notice we went into this dashboard right off the bat. I could have multiple dashboards available to me as well. So my dashboard is a dashboard that I've created for myself. So I click on that, you can see that it refreshes and shows me some different data angles as well. Now, you'll notice as I go down the left-hand side, if I click on something like leads, for example, this is showing me all my leads within the system. This is what we classify as a view within Dynamics. A view really is just a filter. So you can see right here, I've got my open leads. If I hit the little arrow like we did on the dashboards, you can see I've got a view of a bunch of different ways to view leads. Not just my leads, I may want to look at closed leads. Which ones have we closed, either qualified or disqualified in the system? I can look at leads that are specific, all open leads, right? Not just for me, but for everybody else in the system as well. As I go through the system, you'll notice as I click on records, you'll see a toolbar along the top. This toolbar allows me to do different things with those records. So I may want to add them to a marketing list, right? I may want to merge them. We've got two of them that are the same record in the system. I want to merge the two of them together and get rid of the one. All of these different details up here, again, can do on multiple records. And so if I want to maybe do a mass edit as well, I want to change something on all three of those records that I just selected, I could do that from that toolbar. So you'll see the toolbar change depending on where we are and what the functionality is, but it's always there. So keep in mind as we go through, when I select that record, you'll see that toolbar be enabled at the top of the screen. So that's our view I mentioned, the filter of information. The other thing you'll notice is I have the ability to search everywhere. So if I want to search on this record and look for Laura, for example, if I have more data on the screen or multiple Lauras and I'm not sure which one it is, I can look for that record and it's going to pull back that information for me. So let's go into a lead. This is Laura's lead within the system. And a lead in the system is really classified as a name, right? It is just somebody who's maybe hit our website, has come to a trade show, has been a referral. We don't know anything about them yet, and we haven't qualified them enough to know anything about them. So we put them over in the leads area. Now the lead is kept separate. Okay, it is kept separate from my accounts, my contacts, and my opportunities for that very reason. I don't know if it is a real opportunity for us yet. So I'm going to nurture it and go through that qualification process on the lead area before I qualify it and move it forward into my sales pipeline and my opportunities. So you can see our lead here, Laura. We're in the qualify stage with her right now. You can see the sales process bar along the top. These are all locked, develop, propose, and close because I haven't qualified Laura yet. So once I do qualify, you'll see we'll move forward and we'll go into develop and continue on to propose and on to close. You'll also notice all the details. So this is all the demographic information in regards to Laura and her organization. So her organization being an ABC company, you can see the phone numbers for Laura and email and things like that. If I scroll down, you can see I get all the address information. Included, I get a map as well. So the mapping detail. This may be not as important when I'm working on a desktop, right? Unless I want to see where they are kind of thing. But it could be extremely important when I'm on the road, right? I hit that get directions, it pops open the map icon on my phone or the map application on my phone and gives me direction just like I would if I entered it in manually. So that is important again, probably more from a mobile perspective. The middle area here is really all the interactions we've had with Laura in this case. So any phone calls, any tasks, things that have to be completed, any emails would show up in here. You'll notice this activities area is available through the system. You'll see it when we go to an opportunity. You'll see it on quotes. You'll see it everywhere. They kind of flow everywhere, and then they actually all roll up so you can look at them from an account level, right? So I get the whole visibility into Laura's organizations and all the interactions we've had with them, regardless whether it's about a customer service case or a sale or an opportunity. So in this case, you can see we've got a task. We need to send out some literature. I may have completed that, so I want to go in and just complete that. And I'll say, yes, it's been completed. And now you can see that that activity has been closed. Okay, so now these activities will flow along when we qualify Laura and move her to the next stage. On the right side, you can see if we have any competitors, okay, that are part of this lead, and any stakeholders. Again, these can be added as you move through the sales process with Laura. If you find out that there is some other competitors in there, if there is some other people that are decision makers in the opportunity, I can choose to add them at a later date if I want to. You'll notice the assistant up here. There's no notifications for Laura. What this is the system actually going out and looking for things that maybe have been due or things that we need to be proactive in regards to Laura. In this case, we don't have any. We may see some when we get into the opportunity stage. So the process here is we kind of go through this with Laura, go through whatever steps we need to do in order to qualify her and move her forward. So I can click actually on the qualify button or qualify icon here, and you can see this is the detail we're looking to capture, right, before we move forward with Laura or possibly disqualify Laura as well. So how their budget is $25,000, their purchase process is individual, so Laura can make the call on this purchase. These can be entirely what you want them to be as well. So this is, again, just from a sample perspective, but you can change these values and put in different fields here that are pertinent to your qualification stages. So let's, in this case, let's move forward with Laura. Laura, yeah, we've qualified budget. We've done some analysis. Yeah, they're a good fit for us. So let's move her out of that lead bucket and move her forward into an actual sales process. Now you'll notice up at the top, I have disqualify, okay, as well as qualify up there. When I disqualify someone in the system, it actually doesn't delete them out, right? Because it could be a timing issue. It could be a budget issue. I may want to go back and revisit them in the future, add them to a marketing campaign where I'm going to nurture them and maybe come back and visit with them when we're, in this case, out of the pandemic. That's maybe a better timing for them. But so it doesn't delete, it marks them as disqualified, okay, and then a reason why they're disqualified. So they still exist in the system, they just don't show up on my active leads. But in this case, let's go ahead and qualify Laura. I'm just going to click on the qualify button. When I click on that button, it's going to do a couple things. It's going to check for duplicates. So is there anything in the system that looks like Laura or Laura's company? In this case, we do have another company. It's noticed that ABC company already exists in the system. So in that case, I may choose to, you know what, I don't want to do any more with Laura. I'm going to go create a new opportunity because we've engaged with these guys before. So maybe we don't have to go through this lead process with them. In this case, this is a different company, right? It's a different company or a different subsidiary of them. I'm going to ignore that duplicate message, and I'm going to convert them forward into an opportunity, an account, and a contact. So it's taken that one single record of the lead and it's broken it out. So it's created me a new opportunity. You can see we're in the opportunity screen. It's created a new contact for Laura as well. And it also has created a new account called ABC Company for us. So it's taken all that information I had on the lead and moved it forward. So from a data entry perspective, I don't need to do anything else, right? It's entered in information. Now I'm just looking for new data points that I want to enter in against the opportunity. The other thing it has done is it's converted that lead forward, right? So that lead still exists in the leads area, but it's marked as qualified and only read only, because I should be continuing now this process in the opportunity, no longer working on that lead. We've promoted it forward from there. So you can see we've moved forward to the develop stage, okay, in the opportunity. We've got some detail here. I can, again, enter, and if I want to enter in some more activities in here, there's different things that are happening with this opportunity. If I deal with a sales team, okay, so I have multiple people working on this opportunity, I can add them to that. And you can see I've got our competitors down on the bottom here too. Let's go in and mark when we think this deal is going to close. So you know what? Let's say we're going to close by next week, and we think we can fulfill the need for Laura for 25,000, just where her budget is as well. Now, as I go through this, I'm going to do different activities from within here. I'm going to have different interactions with Laura. As that goes on, I may determine that, you know what, we're no longer in the develop stage, right? So I'm going to move them forward to propose. But before I do that, I'm going to, yeah, we have identified who the stakeholders are. We have identified who the competitors are. We're going to sell them some widgets, okay? And no real solution today. So we're actually walking into a new opportunity for us there. I can go now move this forward to the next stage, and you can see that it's now moved me forward to the proposed stage. So maybe I'm going to go in. Yeah, we've identified the sales team, okay? We are in the process of developing the proposal. Okay, we've completed the internal review, and maybe the last step is to complete or present that proposal to the customer. But before we go any further in the sales process, let's go in and create a quote. So I'm going to go into the quotes area. Now this is based and attached to the opportunity itself. So I can go in and create a new quote, and it's going to launch me into a different screen. So we've gone from a lead, right? We've converted that lead over, and it's created a new account, a new contact, and a new opportunity for us. And now we're creating a quote off of that opportunity. You can see I've got some quote information. It's pulled forward the information on the customer. I'm going to add in a price list. They're in the US, so they're going to be associated to our US price list. And I'm also going to put an effective date in as well. So I'm going to say, okay, we're going to make it effective from today. And you know what? Since we're going to give them a really good deal, we'll make it till next week. So really the only other thing I need to do on the quote now is actually add some products to it. So I can go in, click on add product. This is going to look at our product catalog. Okay, so if you had an integration to your ERP system or Business Central or Finance and Operations, you actually could pull the information into the product catalog here for your inventory items and choose from that data. In this case, I can go and look at an existing product. So advanced widget is what we're going to look to sell them. We've got a single unit of it. They're $5,000 a pop, so we know they have the budget of 25,000 and they need 5 of them. In that case, we'll just go save and close this. And you'll notice as this gets saved, it's actually inputted the value for me. It's put the total amount at 25,000 and the detail amount down here is 25,000. You'll notice that I go over this information. It's all editable. I could add some more products to this quote. I could change what the effective dates and to dates are. In this case, let's just activate the quote. So what you see up top here, I'm going to click on this activate quote button. And what that is going to do is essentially lock that quote down. Okay, so you'll notice now this is all read-only. I can't make any changes to this quote. It's kind of been handed over to the customer and they're now reviewing it. Okay, now say the quote comes back and the customer says, you know what? I really love your products, but I can't, my budget is a little less than $25,000. Can you guys do anything for me? We most certainly can. So in this case, keep an eye on the revision ID on the left-hand side here. I'm going to go up here and click on the revise button. When I click on that revise button, it actually opens the quote up again for me. So I have the ability to go in and modify the quote. You'll also notice that it has now incremented that revision ID to 1. And I can continue to do this as many times as I want through the system. And what it's doing is keeping a log of these quotes. So I have that original quote that's going to be that $25,000. And now if I go in and give a discount in here, so say we give them a 10% discount, I'm just going to save that record. you can see that it's brought in and adjusted our price to $22,500 based on that discount. Now, with this quote is still editable, so I have to do the same thing as I did on the first quote. I need to activate it. Okay, so I'm going to go activate this quote. And as I activate it, it's locking that quote down. Okay, and again, we now have two quotes. We have the original one with the revision ID of 0, and then we have the next one which has the discount on it as well. So maybe Laura comes back and says, you know what, that is in my budget. I want to go forward with you guys. I now want to create an order, right? So when I click on this create order button at the top, it's actually going to do a couple things for me as well. You notice as I go through this, right, the system is doing the heavy lifting for me. I'm adding in some detail, but it's moving data around and creating records and things like that. So it's saying, do you want to create an order? Yes. Okay, the date 1 is today. We want to close our original opportunity, right? Because remember, we've moved on to a quote now. So if we win this quote, that means that opportunity is closed as well. So it's gonna close that for us too. And then I'm going to calculate the actual revenue from quotes. Okay. Remember, on the opportunity we had estimated revenue is 25,000. Now we've adjusted that on the quote with the discount. So we want to go back, and the actual revenue we get from that opportunity is going to be 22,500, not our original 25,000 as we thought. So when I click OK on this, it actually is going to create an order in the system. Now, again, if you're integrated to your finance system, this could push the order back to a BC or to a finance and operations or to some other application that you have for your finance and your ERP side of the business. And then maybe the system would push forward updates and things like that. If you determine that, you know what, we're just going to be standalone, as you create this order, there is an order area within the system. And I have the ability also as well, I can go straight forward and complete this order, fulfill the order, whatever I want to do from here as well. So if I go back and look at our customer record now, this is the customer we just created from the lead with Laura. We've got our contacts in here. You can see we've got our opportunity that we just won. If we had any cases that were against this customer that exist in here. But I also can go in and look at things like all of our different opportunities, as I mentioned in here, all our different leads, all our different quotes, all our different cases. All of that information can reside within this account record as well. So again, from ability to reference that 360-degree view of the account, it would exist within here. Now, if I go back and look at our opportunity again, you'll also see the same kind of idea where we have all this data attached to records. I'm in the opportunity we just won. I can look at my quotes from within here too. So I have that original quote, and then I have the quote that we actually won as well. So that kind of walks you through the lead process, through an opportunity, through a quote, through an order. We've been working in the browser client. Keep in mind, we actually have the ability to do this from the mobile client as well. So you can see this is my mobile, right? I'm looking at all the different information, another dashboard that we have visibility into on my mobile device. This could be on a phone or on a tablet. This is all editable. The exact same data that I'm seeing out on the browser, I see on the mobile device. If I want to go in again, look at my accounts or look at my contacts or anything like that, click on that and it brings me a view on the mobile device as well. So really the only difference with the mobile device, whether it be on a tablet or whether it be on a phone, is the form factor. Okay, so obviously you got a smaller screen, you're going to actually have to maybe remove some things off it or just make it optimized for that screen size. So we talked about the browser, we just talked about mobile, the functionality through there. I also have the actual ability to look at it from an Outlook perspective too. So you can see I have my normal Outlook within the system. You can see I have my email with the preview window on the right-hand side. But I also have the Dynamics 365 app on the right-hand side. So you can see this is an opportunity for website interest in cards. I can make this a little bigger if you want to see more detail on it. What's the value of it? When's it expected to close? Who's Jack? All right, the contact that we're involved with there, the account, all the opportunities, the cases that we're engaged with in regards to this email. Now, this email could get tracked. As soon as it comes in, it's going to surface some information over here if that email address exists in CRM or in Dynamics Sales. So when it comes into my inbox, you're going to see some surface information here. Then I make the decision whether I want to track it within dynamic sales or I just want to respond back to the email normally. If I do track it and I respond back and they respond back and we get a dialogue going back and forth, that actually would get tracked in the system as well. So you get to see all of that. One other interesting thing with the Outlook side of things is if I delete this out of my inbox like we normally do from a management perspective, it's still going to exist over in dynamic sales. So I'm going to see that information still there, even though I've managed my inbox the same way that maybe you're doing today. The other things you'll see here is creating appointments. If I want to use an email template, send out some sales literature, all that information that's coming from dynamic sales, you could do the same thing from Outlook and again, utilize some of the power within that application. So that gives you an overview of dynamic sales from dashboarding to navigation to the lead process through all the way your opportunity process to maybe a quote and an order as well. Thanks for taking the time and have a great day.